First of all, happy post Merry Christmas. I hope everybody had a good Christmas time, either spending with their family or friends. Hope you had a good time. And I'm also very happy that there are people to stay tuned to my channel during the Christmas day and evening to check on my presentation in regarding to cognitive um, distortion and also how to find out a way to resolve your cognitive distortion. So today we're gonna talk about a little different, but still is get involved with the mental health service. Today we will talk about something called assessment. So assessment is very important part of treatment plan for every individual and every client. So I'm just gonna briefly again kind of introduce everybody what is mental health assessment and what does the mental health assessment involve with, and who will be benefit for the assessment, mental health assessment. So first of all, most of the clinician or either the case manager need to get into the field of not how to diagnose the client, but at least knowing how to observe the client's behavior and understand the outcome of the treatment plan, coordinating with a psychiatrist, coordinating with a nurse practitioner, also coordinating with nurses. But beside those things, we also need to be able to doing the assessment, mental health assessment. That's very important piece of the work. Besides just interacting with a client and on a daily basis. When you first interact with client, you need to start working on their assessment, which contain with clients' basic information, their past treatment history, especially their mental health issue, if ever had. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit more about how to process this assessment. So basically, you kind of have your first interaction with a client, and you will have the historical information, which will be contained such as a book or just from previous case manager. And those information will be very valuable because this information will be able to help you to develop your own case study and your own assessment. Um, on the top of that, how we formulating the client's assessment. First of all, we need to understand client first, right? So we kind of talk to the client and understand client's diagnosis, the basic, depending on what kind of mental health disorder they have. If they have bipolar, then we if the psychiatrist diagnosed them with bipolar, then we go through the bipolar definition, we go to the bipolar information to find out exactly how to help a client. And if a client have a different type of disorder, then we can also go through those information quickly, efficiently in order to kind of get to know a client so when you compose an assessment, you have to understand client's basic information, which including their day, their year, their age, their gender, their past medical history, their past mental health diagnosis history, and how many times they visit the psychiatric hospital during the past, how many times they relapsed during the past, how many times they went to the PES during the past, and how many times they get out from discharge from the PS and from the psychiatrist hospital and how their medication has been arranged. So those are the important things that you need to do before compose and work and integrating on your client's assessment. So those are the some kind of basic thing you need to know. And of course, if you understand client's mental health issue, if you understand what kind of goal the client would like to achieve, and you can also kind of work with the client and form their own assessment. So basically, at the beginning of the assessment, you kind of knowing those things. The very basic information and their history, if they have any type of story, their family history is kind of important too. You cannot rule out the family history because the family history will have a great impact on how in the future how the psychiatrist will be able to diagnose this client. So their family history is important, and then their kind of medication they took during the past is important. What kind of mental health diagnosis they had is also very important. You need to take those into. consideration. Okay, so once you formulate those assessment, you draw those assessment, write those assessment, and then you have to put a things called medical necessity. So those medical necessity means that they need to be tied to their diagnosis. So for example, client has bipolar, client has schizophrenia, then you have to understand the function. What is a function of dysfunction? No information they may have if a client has, let's say, schizophrenia. How do they execute their main their if they have schizophrenia, right? So which part of their not their not ability to function quickly. So you have to kind of understand those things, and you need to understand that positive and negative schizophrenia at the same time in order to meet those medical necessity. So those are the downside of schizophrenia. If you're dealing with older adult, they're pretty much older client who have schizophrenia for many years. But if you deal with younger adult, they may have just onset of schizophrenia. So those things need to be meet medical necessity. Means that whatever that happen, the preventing from working on their daily function need to be included on your assessment. So those are the kind of basic stuff. And the next time we will spending more time talking about the process of on the assessment and then how we complete the assessment and how many times we need to review those assessments during the yearly basis. That's it. And thank you for tuning to my channel and I will see you next time. Okay, bye bye.